The P-47 Thunderbolt, often dubbed the Jug, was a true powerhouse of World War II aviation. Known for its sheer firepower, durability, and relentless performance, it became a favorite among Allied pilots. The P-47's massive weight and robust design made it a flying tank, able to endure damage that would bring down other fighters. But its imposing size was a double-edged sword, offering both advantages and challenges in combat. Despite its hefty frame, the P-47 became a terror to Axis forces, embodying the strength and resilience of the Allied war effort. Let's dive into what made the P-47 both a beast and a deadly weapon.
Design and development, crafting the Thunderbolt.
The design of the P-47 was a response to the need for a versatile, heavily armed fighter capable of handling the rigors of combat in both the European and Pacific theaters. Developed by Republic Aviation, the P-47's design was led by the talented Alexander de Seversky. The aircraft's powerful engine, large wings, and tough airframe set it apart from its contemporaries. Initially, the P-47 was designed as a high-altitude interceptor, but engineers soon realized it needed a more durable build to handle the demands of low-level bombing and ground attack missions. One of the key design features was its massive size, unusual for a single-engine fighter. This weight wasn't a flaw. Rather, it contributed to the plane's ruggedness and ability to withstand enemy fire. The P-47 was equipped with the Pratt & Whitney R2800 double Wasp radial engine, a supercharged powerhouse that delivered incredible speed and endurance. Its larger-than-life build allowed for an impressive range and a generous internal fuel tank, giving it the stamina to fly long missions over enemy territory. The P-47 also boasted a distinctive, wide-cowled nose that housed the engine, contributing to its chunky yet effective appearance. Its thick armor plating provided crucial protection for the pilot, making it one of the most durable aircraft of the war. While the P-47 was initially slower than other fighters like the P-51 Mustang, its design ensured it would be feared on the battlefield, earning its place as a true flying tank in the skies.
The P-47's impressive armament.
The P-47 wasn't just about size, it was built to deliver devastating firepower. Armed with 8-foot caliber Browning M2 machine guns, the Thunderbolt had one of the heaviest armaments of any fighter in World War II. This firepower allowed it to cut through enemy bombers, fighters, and ground targets with ruthless efficiency. The P-47's guns were mounted in the wings, giving it a wide field of fire and making it deadly in dogfights and bombing runs. In addition to its wing-mounted guns, the P-47 was equipped to carry a variety of bombs and rockets under its wings, transforming it into a formidable ground attack aircraft. Pilots could customize their loadout based on the mission, whether it was attacking enemy airfields, ground troops, or supply lines. The ability to carry bombs up to 2,500 pounds made the P-47 highly versatile, able to switch from high-speed interception to low-level ground attack without missing a beat. The Thunderbolt's impressive armament wasn't just for show, it was designed to maximize its effectiveness in every combat scenario. Its firepower could outmatch almost any enemy aircraft, and it was feared by Axis pilots for its relentless offensive capability. When flying over enemy lines, the P-47's machine guns and bomb load could decimate large swathes of enemy positions, making it an essential asset for the Allied forces. Despite its weight, the P-47 proved that sheer firepower could compensate for agility in the right hands.
The weight factor, a double-edged sword.
The P-47 Thunderbolt's most distinguishing feature was its massive weight. At over 10,000 pounds, it was one of the heaviest single-engine fighters of World War II. This substantial weight had both advantages and disadvantages that shaped its role in combat. On the one hand, The extra mass gave the P-47 an incredibly strong airframe, capable of taking hits and staying in the fight. The thick armor plating around the cockpit and engine provided unmatched protection for the pilot, allowing the Thunderbolt to withstand enemy fire that would bring down other aircraft. The extra weight also allowed for larger fuel tanks, giving the P-47 impressive range and enabling long-distance missions deep into enemy territory. However, the P-47's weight came with a significant trade-off: maneuverability. Unlike lighter fighters like the P-51 Mustang, which excelled in quick turns and aerial dogfights, the P-47 was less agile. In tight turns, its weight made it sluggish, which could make it vulnerable to more nimble opponents. While it could dive with tremendous speed and power, its weight made it harder to climb and maneuver in high-speed dogfights, which often forced pilots to rely on their strength in firepower rather than aerial acrobatics. In terms of combat strategy, the weight of the P-47 meant it excelled in ground attack missions, where speed and mobility were less important. The Thunderbolt's ability to take on multiple roles, ranging from air superiority to ground attack, made it invaluable. But in the world of fast-paced aerial combat, its bulkiness often meant that P-47 pilots had to adjust their tactics to avoid getting caught in situations where lighter, more agile aircraft could outmaneuver them. This balance between weight, power, and versatility was what made the P-47 both a beast in the sky and a deadly weapon in the hands of skilled pilots.
Powerful engine, the heart of the P-47.
At the core of the P-47's formidable strength was its engine, the Pratt & Whitney R2800 double Wasp radial engine. This powerful 18-cylinder engine was a game-changer, providing the Thunderbolt with an astounding 2,000 horsepower. The R2800 engine enabled the P-47 to reach speeds of up to 433 miles per hour, a remarkable figure given its heavy build. What set the engine apart, however, was its incredible reliability and ability to maintain power at high altitudes, which was crucial for combat during World War II. The engine's design included a supercharger that allowed the P-47 to operate at high altitudes, where it was often required to intercept enemy bombers. While the P-47 was heavier and slower than other fighters, its engine provided unmatched endurance and thrust, making it a key asset for long-range missions. This capability was particularly valuable in the European theater, where pilots often had to travel long distances to engage the enemy. The engine's power also made the P-47 excellent at dive bombing runs. Its ability to accelerate rapidly in a dive gave it a significant edge over lighter fighters that could not match the Thunderbolt's raw speed and firepower. The engine's durability also played a major role in the P-47's reputation for toughness. Even when it suffered damage from enemy fire, the R2800 engine kept running long enough for pilots to make it back to base, often allowing the P-47 to return to action after repairs. While its engine was one of the heaviest components of the aircraft, it was essential for its success, enabling the P-47 to handle the rigors of aerial combat with unmatched resilience and firepower.
Combat performance dominating the skies.
The P-47's combat performance was nothing short of legendary. As one of the most versatile fighters of World War II, it excelled in a variety of roles, from bomber escort to ground attack missions. In the European theater, the P-47 became one of the primary aircraft for escorting Allied bombers on raids deep into Nazi-occupied Europe. Its incredible firepower and durability made it a formidable defender of the bombers it escorted. The P-47's ability to withstand enemy fire and continue flying, even with extensive damage, made it indispensable for long-range missions. However, it was in the ground attack role that the P-47 truly earned its reputation. The Thunderbolt's ability to carry a wide variety of bombs and rockets allowed it to strike strategic targets, including enemy airfields, railways, and supply lines. The heavy armor and rugged build allowed the P-47 to dive toward targets without worrying about small arms fire. This made it a perfect tool for hitting hard targets at low altitudes, where lighter, more agile aircraft might be at greater risk. The P-47 also found success in the Pacific Theater, where its combination of speed and firepower made it effective against Japanese forces. While it was less agile than other fighters, its power and ruggedness allowed it to dominate in both dogfights and ground attacks. P-47 pilots like Richard Bong and Thomas Maguire became two of the highest-scoring American aces of the war, underscoring the aircraft's lethal effectiveness. Despite its weight, the P-47 proved that power and resilience could outshine agility, making it a fearsome adversary in the skies.
The P-47's durability, built to endure.
One of the defining features of the P-47 Thunderbolt was its remarkable durability. The aircraft's robust design made it one of the toughest fighters of World War II, able to take immense amounts of damage and still return to base. This durability came from its thick armor plating, which protected critical areas like the cockpit and engine. The P-47 was built with a sturdy airframe that could absorb damage from both enemy fire and the stresses of aerial combat. Unlike many other aircraft which would be crippled after taking a few hits, the P-47 often flew back to base with bullet holes and damage to its wings, fuselage, and engine. This strength was particularly valuable in high-intensity battles, where pilots often found themselves under heavy fire. The P-47's ability to take hits and still keep flying gave it a significant advantage, especially during bomber escort missions. While enemy fighters could take down more fragile bombers, the P-47 had the toughness to take on hostile aircraft and return fire without losing effectiveness. The durability of the P-47 also gave pilots confidence, knowing that the aircraft could withstand extreme conditions and still complete their mission. Moreover, the P-47's ruggedness helped in its ground attack role, where it had to fly at low altitudes and face enemy anti-aircraft fire. The P-47's armor allowed it to approach targets without fear of being destroyed by small arms fire or surface-to-air weapons. It was a fighter that could absorb punishment and keep on fighting, which made it a favorite among Allied pilots and a terror in the skies for the Axis forces.
Handling and maneuverability, the price of power.
While the P-47 Thunderbolt was known for its incredible power and durability, its handling and maneuverability were less impressive compared to lighter, more agile fighters like the P-51 Mustang or the Supermarine Spitfire. The P-47's heavy weight made it sluggish in tight turns and slow to react in high-speed dogfights. Pilots often had to adjust their tactics when engaging in aerial combat, relying more on their aircraft's firepower and endurance than on quick maneuvers. In combat situations, the P-47 excelled in high-speed dives, where its weight allowed it to maintain stability and power. The aircraft's ability to maintain speed while diving made it effective in bombing runs and intercepting enemy bombers. However, when engaged in dogfights with more nimble adversaries, the P-47 could struggle. Pilots often had to rely on their superior firepower, strength, and dive capability to outmaneuver enemy aircraft rather than relying on traditional dogfighting tactics. Despite these challenges, the P-47's strength in other areas more than made up for its lack of agility. It wasn't built for acrobatic maneuvers, but for sheer durability and power. When it came to bombing runs, ground attacks, and defending bombers, the P-47 proved that power and toughness could still reign supreme over agility. Pilots who mastered its strengths often found the P-47 to be a deadly and dependable companion in the sky, one that could turn the tide of battle even if it couldn't always outmaneuver the enemy. In the skies of World War II, the P-47 Thunderbolt proved that power, durability, and firepower could make up for what it lacked in agility. Its massive weight and rugged design turned it into a force to be reckoned with, earning it a legendary place in aviation history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most iconic fighters of World War II, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more fascinating stories and insights on aviation history. Stay tuned for more, and thank you for watching.